ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. I hope you had a nice weekend. I certainly did. A busy weekend, but a good weekend. And it was not a good weekend if you were a New York area football fan. Both the Jets and the Giants came dangerously close to winning. In the Giants' case, I guess they came dangerously close to tying. And they both blew it in the waning seconds of both games. However, if you're a fan of New York sports, things are looking up because it is looking like this is a wonderful holiday season indeed if you are a Met fan. The Mets have done it. Steve Cohen, baseball's most ambitious owner, has pulled off what can only be described as a seismic shift in the sports world. Juan Soto, a name that strikes fear into pitchers and joy into fans, has signed with the Mets for a record-shattering 15-year, $765 million contract. For us Met fans, this is the equivalent of Santa Claus dropping a championship under the tree. Think about this for a moment. Soto, at just 26 years old, is already one of the most electrifying players in the game. A career-high 41 homers last season, a .419 on-base percentage, and now he's going to be batting alongside Francisco Lindor in a lineup that already features Brandon Nimmo and Mark Vientos, and who knows, maybe Pete Alonso as well. That's not just good news. That's Yankees 27 rings level good news. Speaking of the Yankees, how sweet is this? They gave it their all to keep Soto, but Steve Cohen, God bless him, wasn't about to let Hal Steinbrenner win this one. The Yankees' 16-year, $760 million offer couldn't match the allure of Cohen's vision for the Mets, and what a vision it is. Soto in right field at Citi Field, thrilling the fans who've spent years in the shadow of the Bronx Bombers. This isn't just a signing, it's a declaration. The Mets are no longer the little brother in the New York baseball community. I'm going to get into this a little bit later this hour with Jeffrey Lichtman. I know some people will say it's just one player, but let me tell you, it's not. This move transforms the Mets' identity. It's a signal that mediocrity is no longer acceptable. The days of wait till next year are over. It's also a signal to Pete Alonso, another superstar that we'd love to lock down, that this organization is committed to winning now and for years to come. As I indicated, there's a lot to unpack, and we'll do that with Jeffrey Lichtman a little bit later. For now, though, let's take a moment to savor this. Juan Soto wearing the blue and orange. It's a dream come true, a gift Mets fans have been waiting for and praying for, and quite frankly, I think deserve.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Andrew Cuomo. The disgraced former governor who once basked in the national spotlight is now trying to muzzle his accusers' lawyers in a federal lawsuit. I'm not joking here. Cuomo's team has filed a motion seeking a gag order to stop Charlotte Bennett's legal team from publicly discussing the $28 million of taxpayer money that has already been spent defending Cuomo and his inner circle. Well, why? Why would Cuomo need a gag order to stop people from talking about this expenditure of public funds? Now, Cuomo's entitled to state-funded legal defense for actions taken during his time in office. Absolutely. That's the law. But let's be clear. This isn't just about his rights. It's about public accountability. Taxpayers have every right to know how their hard-earned money is being spent, especially when it's footing the bill for defending against allegations of sexual harassment. Charlotte Bennett's accusations against Cuomo are deeply troubling, alleging inappropriate comments, humiliating tasks, and invasive questions about her personal lives. I realize these claims aren't trivial. I always thought Cuomo got a little bit of a raw deal on them. And while Cuomo denies them, it's his legal team's tactics on this that raise eyebrows. They accuse Bennett of reckless personal conduct and claim Cuomo was merely trying to help her. What's really telling here is the attempt to gag Bennett's lawyers from discussing the massive legal tab. Cuomo's lawyers argue that these statements are prejudicial and meant to pressure a settlement, but let's call it what it is: an attempt to shield Cuomo from the court of public opinion. This is not just a legal strategy, it's a PR move. Plain and simple. Think about the message this sends. A powerful man facing serious allegations uses taxpayer money not only for his defense, but also to silence those who dare to speak about it. That's the very definition of adding insult to injury. What Cuomo and his lawyers fail to grasp, or perhaps cynically exploit, is that transparency is not optional when the public is footing the bill. If you're going to spend $28 million of New Yorkers' money on legal defenses, you'd better expect some scrutiny. And if that scrutiny makes Cuomo uncomfortable, maybe it's time for him to take a long, hard look at why these lawsuits exist in the first place. To be fair, everyone deserves their day in court, and Cuomo has the right to defend himself. But let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. This case is not just about one man's innocence or guilt. It's about power, accountability, and the public's right to know. The gag order Cuomo seeks is a desperate move, a silencing tactic aimed at controlling the narrative. But in the end, no gag order can hide the facts. And the facts as they stand paint an unflattering picture of Andrew Cuomo, one that New Yorkers and taxpayers everywhere won't soon forget.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? Well, check this out. It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. Seriously. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Honey the Bear's story is nothing short of heartbreaking. For 27 years, this black bear endured life in captivity at the Holtzville Ecology Center, a taxpayer-funded facility on Long Island. Certainly those of you listening on Talk Radio 107.1 WLIR are very familiar with it. Advocates and former employees allege that Honey was subjected to horrific neglect, living in inadequate conditions, suffering from untreated medical issues like broken teeth and chronic infections, and exhibiting signs of extreme stress such as repetitive swaying. Honey's death came on November 22nd after a stroke rendered the rear part of her body immobile. She was euthanized, leaving behind a legacy of questions about her treatment and the larger practices of the facility. Animal rights activists have called this case another Peanut the Squirrel, referring to the state's recent controversial euthanasia of a pet squirrel seized from a private home. The Holtzville Ecology Center, which operates under the town of Brookhaven's Highway Department, has been accused of systemic neglect. Witnesses claim animals at the center have suffered and died from untreated ailments, unsanitary enclosures, and lack of proper veterinary care. While town officials deny the allegations, former employees paint a grim picture, one of goats with unchecked horn growths, sick animals left in unheated cages, and untrained staff performing amateur surgeries. Let's consider the facts. Honey and her brother Pooh were donated to this facility as cubs in the 1990s. Their origins trace back to an exotic animal exhibitor forced to shut down. Honey's living conditions, as described by advocates, were woefully inadequate. A concrete pen so small she could barely turn around. Instances of her being harassed to move uphill, sometimes sprayed with a hose. If true, these accounts suggest a staggering level of disregard for animal welfare. Brookhaven Highway Superintendent Dan LaSquadro insists the center provides proper care and points to a recent USDA inspection that reportedly found no issues. But is passing a surprise inspection enough? The outcry from former staffers, combined with the visible signs of Honey's physical and mental distress, demands a deeper investigation, in my view. This brings us to the bigger picture. Why is a highway department running an animal refuge at all? Animal care is a specialized field requiring trained professionals, not an extension of municipal operations designed for fixing potholes. Humane Long Island says reputable sanctuaries are ready to take in the animals currently housed at Holtzville. If true, why not let them? What happened to Honey is awful. It shouldn't happen to anybody else.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Faraday presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el Jardinero. Y el ganador es Faraday Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera a Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. Faraday, adelante.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Let me tell you about a story out of Edison, New Jersey that made me check whether I was reading The Onion. It involves free speech, the American flag, and a copy of the Constitution, a trifecta of Americana. Here's what happened. Last week, the Edison Town Council passed new rules of decorum for its meeting, including a ban on props. What counts as a prop? Apparently everything, including an American flag or a pocket-sized copy of the Constitution. So Joel Bassoff, an Edison resident, decided to test these new rules by addressing the council with a copy of the Constitution in hand. He was interrupted by Council President Nishith Patel, who declared the Constitution a banned prop. Bassoff refused to put it down, and police were ordered to make him sit. But Bassoff wasn't finished. He returned to the podium holding an American flag, calling the council's rules an attempt to clamp down on constitutionally protected symbolic speech. That's when things escalated. Police removed him from the meeting. Folks, this is the United States of America. The First Amendment protects our right to free speech, and symbolic acts like holding a flag or the Constitution are at the heart of that protection. These items aren't disruptive. They enhance the speaker's message. What's baffling is that Patel and others on the council swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, yet they seem more interested in silencing dissent than fostering debate. One councilman even defended the rules, saying such props are distracting. Distracting? Since when did a pocket Constitution or a small flag distract anyone, let alone disrupt the flow of democracy? Now, under public pressure, Patel has issued a statement apologizing for the confusion. Confusion? There's no confusion here. The video is clear. You can watch it for yourself. If they didn't mean to ban the flag or the Constitution, they could have clarified the ordinance or, better yet, repealed it. This isn't just about one town in New Jersey. Across the country, we've seen attempts to silence public input, overreaching rules and vague restrictions. Today, it's in Edison. Tomorrow, it could be in your town. So here's my call to action. Edison needs to totally and completely rescind this absurd policy immediately. And let's stand with Joel Bassoff and every American whose voice and symbolic speech are threatened. Because if holding a flag or the Constitution is too controversial, maybe the problem isn't the props. It's the people making the rules. I say good for you, Joel Bassoff. Proud to stand behind you and with you.
Beam me up.
To be continued.